Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 8, Episode 3, and today is probably one of the toughest moments of the series. I've got a feeling we're going to have a very difficult decision to make at some point. I don't know if there'll be any game action because there are off-the-pitch things happening, and one of them is truly bizarre. So we've come back for that point. We'll get to that in a moment. I'm sure you can work out in a Journeyman series what type of action we're talking about. But firstly, before we go and get into that, a massive thank you to everyone that's followed the series and season so far. I really do appreciate it greatly. If you have missed any of it, you can catch up in the eye above, as well as links to all of our other playlists, our recent new series starting. We've got a brand new one tomorrow as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. But if you are looking forward to the action off the pitch today, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I've got a feeling the next moment's going to be really interesting. I'm not quite sure what's going to come of it, but I'll introduce you to that in a moment. As you can see, we're flying with Salford on the pitch, so everything good on that front. So if we do stay here, it's certainly not a disaster. But if you want to see what's going to happen over the next few episodes and where on earth we're going to end up, please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on down below. You'll get alerts as every episode comes out every day at 4:30. And obviously our new series starting at midday tomorrow too. It's an action-packed week on the channel, and this episode might be action-packed itself. So we're going to go and have a look at that. But thank you so much for everyone who continues to follow this series and the Dorking Wanderers one as well. I absolutely love the One Club story. I know the Journeyman's always a bit more enticing to watch, but the One Club, the loyalty, building a club up from nothing, I absolutely love that. So I'm really enjoying that one at the moment. We've got the second episode of our new stadium review series tomorrow. It's a much bigger club this time. We had Accrington first time out as we were going via the alphabet. The second club is Barnsley, so that's a much bigger former Premier League club, of course. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that too. I've got the same co-host Tom joining me for that one. And then tomorrow at midday, the start of my FM20 network career, up against a co-host over a season. Two similarly ranked National League clubs expected to be neck and neck in the table. Can I come out on top? Join me tomorrow to find out for that one, as well as the introduction to what sides we'll be managing, of course. But a big thanks again for your support on the channel. I really do appreciate it at this difficult time. But let's go and talk about Salford City. We're in 7th place in the Championship. We will go and have a look at the schedule at some point during this episode, depending on how far we get through. We were planning to come back in mid-October, of course, and we will still show that game if we're still at Salford. We've also got the Ireland international break coming up. There's lots of action on the pitch, but that is pretty much second fiddle at the moment. So if we go and have a look at the inbox, I'm sure one or two of you might have been able to work out what's going to happen. And if you do feel confident and you haven't cheated, let me know down in the comments. But I can confirm in our inbox that we've been offered a random job interview, not through applying for anything, by Charlton Athletic. The club that 2 years ago sacked us, the ones that forced us to come to Salford, who were already basically relegated from the Championship, to rebuild our reputation in League One, win the league and come back to this level, and now they've offered us another job interview. So we can take that one of two ways. We can do it as the sort of West Ham approach with David Moyes. We went for something more flamboyant and we probably made a mistake, so come back and please save us again. Or you could take that of the approaches. They're doing the rounds, they don't really know what they want. It's the same chairman, the same director of football. Are we going to get a different outcome? Who knows? I'll go and attend the interview, and I wanted to show you this one. So I'm glad you've given me a chance to talk to the club. Do you deserve a second chance here after being sacked? I don't know, you tell me. You're offering me an interview. I didn't apply for the job. I mean, what on earth's that sort of question for? And the problem I have with this is it's not giving me the option to say I don't feel you gave me time. All of the options are basically alluding to the fact that I would have deserved to have been sacked, which I don't agree with. All I'm going to say is I've gone from strength to strength since then. The one relegation on my record, I get this in every interview now. We were expected to be in a dogfight. We were already down. We were expected to finish bottom. And then I brought them back up as champions straight away. I mean, what more can I do? Now they're in 7th. I mean, I've done everything I can here. Our team are currently defying expectations. Well, yes, they are. Probably through luck rather than judgment. But I want to bring all of that momentum with me. So let's do that. I believe I can manage both the international team and the club side. I'm not applying for a number of jobs. You've approached me. I didn't apply. I haven't applied for any jobs this season. You parted company with your last manager sooner than anyone could have anticipated. Well, they got a history for that, haven't they? I mean, there's a pretty clear reason for it. I've spent considerable time at most clubs except from yours. They'll have considerable resources, so they've obviously still got the tycoon as well. We're more than happy to work with Cadero. He was a brilliant director of football. We don't need to make staff changes. We don't have any say in that. Reach the playoffs? They're 17th, aren't they? 10 points, it's only 6 points off. Early stages, we can't argue. And in 2 years, they want to win promotion. That's fine by me. Can we challenge for the playoffs? Yes, we can. Transfer budget, I'll have less than 12 million. That's not needed at all. The wage budget's fine. No further requests to propose. That's it. We have had an interview at Charlton. I'm a bit baffled to the fact that they've come and approached us for an interview and then asked us why we're applying for lots of jobs and why they sacked us. I don't know the answer to those questions. The man who was interviewing me did. So they're a bit bizarre, but otherwise, a really, really bizarre moment in the series. One that I haven't had in any other season. I've been sacked by a club, and then they've come and approached me again. So that's a really interesting one. We'll wait and see what happens with that. What I'm going to do is skip ahead. I'm going to go to any other interviews that pop up. I'll play any games off camera. And then we'll come back when we get either a job offer from a club or an outcome from Charlton Athletic, be it rejected or accepted. And we'll keep doing that until we get to mid-October. So let's go and skip ahead. Let me know in the comments what you think will happen. Well, we are back. We've only played one game ourselves. We've won it. We've done okay. We're still in 7th place in the league. And we've got a game coming up in a matter of moments. We'll go and do that off camera later on. We've still got 4 players out via injury or suspension. So we're starting to have a few problems at Salford. I won't lie on that front. The finances are atrocious despite our form. But we've got a message. If we go to our inbox, the Charlton interview was unsuccessful. They've offered Kane Rice the job, who was the manager at Nottingham Forest, so that might bring an opening here. They've just been a bit of a boring mid-table championship club in this series. Of course, in the Dorking save, if either of you are following both, you might remember they are the perennial entertainers. They won the FA Cup in the championship, played in Europe in the championship, then the following season got relegated to League One, got promoted as champions, then immediately reached the championship playoffs. They are absolutely brilliant value for money in that series. In this one, a middle-of-the-road championship club. But they've lost Kane Rice, their manager, and that leaves an opening. So fingers crossed. We might not be out of the woods yet in terms of job offers. So we aren't applying for any of the medium ones yet. I've applied for one 3.5-star job, which I'll keep a secret until we get an interview. But for now, we have lost out on that Charlton job. It's interesting that they were willing to give us an interview for the second time. You see that a lot in FM actually, that managers go back to their former clubs. And to be fair, it happens a lot in real life, so I can't argue with that. But we have lost out on the Charlton job. There are plenty of others available. Nottingham Forest now going. They're in mid-table in the championship. The Burnley job's going. They've had an awful start to the season. They've been right up there since getting relegated 4 years ago. And this season they're down in the bottom 3. So that's going to be a really tough one as well. But we might get that job offer, and they're much bigger clubs. They've got the facilities ready. They've got everything we need behind the scenes. And I don't know that we could turn them down if they offer us double our wage. We've also got a bit of a situation with Ireland where there's a few players injured. So if the next international break goes badly, we might be then looking for a job that can financially cover us so we can quit the Ireland job too. I know that's a little bit throwing it away early on, but I've got to be realistic. If I was struggling with an international job, I was travelling, it wasn't working out, and I got a big club offer in terms of finances, in terms of reputation, if we got a long enough contract that made us secure, I'd probably drop it. So I've got to be fair in that regard. I'd love to make it work with Ireland, but all the teams I'm playing have got loads of wonder kids. There's 2 more of them coming up in Russia and the Czech Republic, so I don't want to get too excited just yet. So we're going to skip ahead again. We've made that one offer for a job in application. That one's over in Spain in the top tier. 3.5-star side, pretty average in that league. But that one I'm hoping we'll get an interview for as well. So we're going to skip ahead again. We'll play some games off camera. And we'll be back when we get our first job offer from any of these clubs. Okay, we're back for the 17th of October. It's the game we were basically going to be back for anyway. You can see the international break has gone horrifically for Ireland. Russia had 5 wonder kids in their 14 players that featured. The Czech Republic had 8. 8 wonder kids out of 14. So they should be the best side in the world soon. So we'll keep an eye out for that international job in the future. But otherwise, we're doing a wonderful job with Salford. We're in 4th place in the league. 12 games played, 25 points. A bit like Dorking, I've no idea how we're achieving it. We haven't got great players, but it just seems to work this season. You can see our goal difference is poor, but defensively, again, we look extremely solid, just as we did last year. So we're doing really well with the club. We're going to go and have a look at the recent results, because whatever happens, we are going to be leaving today. Now, I don't know if it's for the job that we've just been offered that we're going to look at in a moment, but we will definitely be leaving. We'll probably play this Swansea game off camera, but we will be leaving before the next episode and introducing our new club. But I'm going to need you to help me make the decision. So I'll give you all the options in a moment, but let's just talk through the recent results here. Salford City, we've played 5 games since the last international break, when we obviously made our debut with Ireland competitively. We won 4 of them as well, doing really well. A 4-2 win away at Millwall, a really good performance, 2 early goals and then 2 late ones as well. Jacob Costello getting one for the club as well. Away to Nottingham Forest, a club that we've obviously had a job interview with. We lost 1-0 there, Josh Mazza getting a late goal. Featured in that Sunderland Till I Die series, I believe. And then at home to AFC Wimbledon, a comfortable 2-0 win, despite a red card with 30 to go. And then a 2-1 win at home to Barnsley as well. Teller and Randell with the goals there. Both absolute screamers. One of our worst performances, and they scored brilliant goals. Absolutely brilliant they were. Christian Leal got one back later on, but of course it was just a consolation. And then a 1-0 win away to my beloved Luton Town. Ben Close again with a rocket. Not really scoring goals from those poachers finishes, through creating good chances. Just absolute screamers from everywhere. For some reason, the attendance at Power Court was only 3,000. I mean, I don't want to be biased as a Luton fan here, but in the National League, we never had a season where we averaged less than 6,500. So I'm not quite sure why that's the case. Even against Salford, I think they would probably get a bigger crowd than that. And I can tell you that because they've got about 6,500 season ticket holders. And even in non-league had 4,500. So that seems a little bit harsh. But we're not going to worry about that. Apologies as I'm smacking things again. But we've got a job offer. So what we will do quickly before we go and look at that, as it could impact on our job with Ireland too. We do have some good news from that front, as well as the 2 games that we lost heavily. The second one of the September groups we won away at Israel. Troy Parrott and Aaron Connolly with a brace apiece. The much better partnership, but Parrott was injured. He was out of the squad for the last 2. So we have been a little bit depleted on that front. We had Darragh Lenihan now injured as well. My word, did we miss him at the back. 9 goals conceded without reply. And we could well get relegated from that group. It's basically us or Israel. We play on the final game to survive. And I'm not quite sure we would have made it. But either way, let's go to our inbox. We have got a job offer from Nottingham Forest. Obviously a club that are offering us a lot of money. So let's see what our wage is here at Salford. I don't know if any of you remember. You're probably shouting at me. What are we earning at the moment? Okay, so we're on 10,000 a week at Salford. We've got a contract for 18 months essentially. Salford are a 2.5 star side. So in terms of their reputation, we're basically punching here. They've got promoted, they got relegated, they got promoted again. So we know that they're a yo-yo club. Nottingham Forest are offering us almost double the wage. The only promise is we've got to keep the director of football in place, which is perfect for this series as we know. Let's have a look at the expectations. A mid-table finish this year, where are they? They're 11th. That's perfectly reasonable. Sign players to sell for a profit. No saying that. Sign players under the age of 20. No saying that. Don't sign players over the age of 30. Trust your director of football to do that. Play attacking football. No problem with that whatsoever. Minimum 2-year contract for players. Nothing to do with me. Work towards promotion to the Premier League next season. So I'm guessing they want probably playoffs maybe. And then in 3 years' time we need to get promoted. So what sort of contracts are they offering us? A 2-year deal. I'm not quite sure when that ends. Is that going to be 2 years ending at the end of next season or ending at the end of the season after? But either way, we're not going to negotiate this one today. Let me know your thoughts on it, of course, but there are some other options potentially. We have had some other interviews and we are likely to get one of the job offers. If we go to have a look at the job centre, I'll show you which ones they are. We have had a job interview at Albacete in Spain. It's the one job I applied for. They're a 3.5 star reputation side. They're actually expected to finish in the top half of La Liga. So I've no idea why they've got such a good team now. They've got a few really good players on loan. A few very solid ones. A lot of young ones as well. So the sort of side we could potentially get involved with. In terms of facilities, excellent for training, great for youth, adequate for everything else. A 25,000 seater. Be a really nice move if we could get it. But we've also had an interview from a club that have approached us, which are Burnley. So they're 22nd in the Championship. John Terry's the favourite, so we might not get the offer for this one. But another 3-star side. They've been at the top half of the Championship the last few years. Obviously got Premier League infrastructure now. They've got some really good players again. They only wanted us to attempt to avoid relegation, so I'm not quite sure what's going on off the pitch. Everything looks okay. They've got a 22,000 seater Turf Moor, of course. Superb training and youth facilities. Decent academy and recruitment. I can't quite see why they didn't think they'd stay up. So I think in terms of expectations, Burnley is the one I'd be looking for. And I'm just sort of edging towards that one of the two English clubs. But Nottingham Forest, a massive team on paper, of course. Former European champions a couple of decades back. Entertainers in the other series, which is sort of skewing my knowledge a little bit as well. But then Albacete, what an opportunity that is. So we've got 3 potential opportunities to move, 1 to stay at Salford. That's the one I'm pretty much ruling out because it's not realistic and we promised this series would be. So let me know in the comments, where would you go? Presuming we get all 3 offers, we know we've got Nottingham Forest on the table. If we don't get any other offers, we'll definitely go there. We'll delay it a week and then we'll go. But if we get the Burnley offer, if we get the Albacete offer, what should I do? Please let me know in the comments because I need some help. I mean, in fact, I'm going to put a poll in above. So go and have a vote. Where should I go? Let me know in the comments your reasons why. I'm really intrigued. And next episode, we will accept a job offer and meet a new club. So plenty of entertainment to come. Plenty of moves to come. And this is exactly what we love in a Journeyman series. So we are going to be starting a new job in the next episode. But where is it going to be? Have your input. Let me know what you do. And we'll make our decision next time round. As it is, because I'm going to delay that Nottingham Forest job offer, I am going to have to play the next potentially 2 games, Swansea and Reading, just to wait and see if we get the job offers from the other 2. And then, of course, I'll take all of your views into account and we'll come back and decide in the next episode, which will be in 3 days' time on Tuesday. So make sure you're here, 4:30 the same time. Subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on, get the alerts of when all the episodes are out. It's a massive few days on the channel and your input's going to be crucial at this stage. Tomorrow, we've got the start of our FM network career. Please do come and check that out. We're really proud of it and we're really enjoying it. So I hope you will as well. Meet the clubs we're in charge of. Let us know who you think's going to finish out on top. And then at the same time as this one tomorrow, 4:30, our usual release time, we'll have the second episode of our stadium review series, Review the 92. We'll be focusing on Barnsley's ground, Oakwell, which we visited in 2018. So if you visited that ground, or if you're a football fan, a Barnsley fan, they're of course a club we've managed in the head coach before, so I know there's a couple of you about. Please do get down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the ground. Let us know any bits we've missed out, whether you agree with our opinion or not. Of course, I'll have my usual guest host, Tom, for that one as well. And then on Monday, we're back with Dorking Wanderers, picking up where we left off yesterday. A really interesting episode in that one. It's been a really bizarre season, actually. Both series have just been completely surprising. I'm not complaining because I've really enjoyed them and I'm having a wonderful time with it. It's really given me my enthusiasm back. But we've got to be careful because they could all come crashing down. So please do let me know what you do in this one. I will take all of those thoughts into account on Tuesday and we'll make our decision. If you did enjoy this episode and those bizarre turn of events, please do put a thumbs up on it. I do greatly appreciate your continued support. And then finally, of course, I am part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews. I did one with former Luton and Bristol City player Tony Thorpe this week. It really has gone down well and been supported greatly. So thank you so much for that for those of you that have watched. And I'll put a link to it in the eye above for those that haven't. But make sure you vote. Where should I go next? And we'll be back on Tuesday to decide.